Hello, good day. This is Dr. Don Charles. Welcome to my course, E-commerce with Shopify. This is my third lecture. It covers finding a supplier. So the outline for this lecture includes finding a supplier, factors to consider when selecting a supplier, and this lecture will provide you with a dropshipping template. This template is essential for contacting suppliers. This will provide you with the key information that you must know and the key questions you must ask the suppliers when you are in negotiation with them to get the best prices. So finding a supplier. Finding a supplier is very important. Finding a good supplier is very important because if you don't have a good supplier, then when you get sales, your customer may take too long to receive your product, or they may receive your product, but the product is not in a good quality. When the customer receives your product and it is not in a good quality, the customer may get angry. When this occurs, you may eventually lose your customer. You do not want this to happen. You want to develop a good, positive relationship with your customer so that when you get your customer, they will be with you for a long period of time. In order for this to happen, you have to satisfy your customer. You have to please your customer. You have to supply them with goods that they want, that they like, and they are comfortable with using. This is only possible if you get a good supplier. So you want to get a good supplier in order to keep your customers. In this lecture, I will also give you information for a dropshipping template that you can use when contacting your suppliers. I want to emphasize again contacting your suppliers because you need to contact your suppliers in order to get the best price. There are many different suppliers operating on Alibaba and operating on AliExpress. These suppliers are familiar with the dropshipping model. As a result, many middlemen have entered onto Alibaba and AliExpress, and they do not produce products. They buy products from factories and they sell products online through Alibaba and AliExpress. Yes, you can contact these potential suppliers. However, it is best if you contact a manufacturer because the manufacturer can give you the best price. The dropshipping template will be essential. It will contain the essential information and essential questions that you need to ask the manufacturers as you negotiate for the best price. So when selecting a supplier, there are several factors that you must consider. One, you must make sure that your supplier is actually receiving sales. Two, you must make sure that your supplier is verified. Three, you must make sure that your supplier is in operation for at least 2 years. And four, you must make sure that your supplier offers blind drop shipping. So the first factor that you must consider is the sales. You must choose a supplier that is receiving a lot of sales. So a supplier that is receiving a lot of sales, a supplier that is accustomed to business, is generally not a startup supplier. This supplier has been around for some period of time. While I am not biased about any startup supplier, I want to ensure that you get a good supplier. I want to ensure that you get a supplier that can produce and deliver the product to your customer. I want to ensure that you get a supplier and you will not have any problem with the supplier. So you can do this by choosing a supplier that has been around for a while. So you can do this by choosing a supplier that is accustomed to business. You can do this by choosing a supplier that is accustomed to sales and accustomed to receiving a lot of sales. Generally, a supplier that is receiving a lot of sales is accustomed to business and they can manage different categories of orders, and they may have, and more likely than not, they will have a track record of producing a good quality product to their customers. So this is the type of supplier that you want to select. You want to select a supplier that is accustomed to sales, that is accustomed to business. And when you choose the supplier to drop ship your products to your customer, You do not want to have hiccups. You do not want to have problems encountered. You do not want the supplier to deliver a low quality product to the customer. You do not want to have problems in terms of logistics and shipping of your product to your customer. You want to have a very smooth and comfortable relationship with your supplier. So you want to choose a good supplier. And one of the factors to consider is choosing a supplier that has been around for a while, choosing a supplier that is accustomed to sales, that's accustomed to business. Because if they are around for a while and they're accustomed to sales and accustomed to business, then that suggests that something they must be doing right that allows them to survive for this period of time. A second factor that you must consider when choosing a supplier is the verification. You should choose a verified supplier. That is a supplier that Alibaba or AliExpress has checked out and verified is actually operating a legitimate business. So if the supplier claims that they have a factory and they're producing a variety of goods, Alibaba or AliExpress would have made site visits, they would have checked out the supplier, and they would have verified that this supplier is actually operating business and they are producing different goods for sale. So this is one of the suppliers you should be interested in, a supplier that actually produces goods. So you can check for a verified supplier, because a verified supplier is a supplier that has been vetted by Alibaba and AliExpress, and Alibaba or AliExpress have verified that they are producing goods for sale. As a third rule, you can choose suppliers that have been in business for at least 2 years. I want to emphasize again, I am not biased about any startup business. However, you want to choose a supplier that has been around for at least 2 years, because a supplier that has been around for at least 2 years, it shows that they have been doing business for some period of time, and it shows that they have been doing something right in order for them to survive this period of time. You want to choose a supplier that has some kind of track record, some experience in being able to produce their goods and sell their goods to the market. This is the supplier you want to choose. You want to choose the supplier with some level of experience or track record of performance. Yes, it is possible that you can choose a supplier with less than 2 years of operation. However, this would be more risky in the sense that in the early phases of business, there might be bottlenecks that the supplier may incur, and they might not have fully addressed these bottlenecks as yet. Yes, there's a possibility that bottlenecks and operational challenges can extend beyond 2 years of business. However, just as a safety precaution, we want to choose a supplier that has been in operation for at least 2 years, because it suggests that this supplier has found some way at least to produce their goods on a consistent basis, and because of this, they have been able to survive on the market. This is the supplier that you want to choose. This is the supplier that you should be interested in selecting. Now we are seeing many products here. Let us choose a random product category. Let's choose this random product, this top hair dryer brush. So we have a supplier. We have a supplier here. This is a supplier. This supplier is actually producing this hair brush. So let's see if suppliers that are actually producing this brush. So I choose the product. So we are seeing different suppliers that can actually produce this brush. So we have this supplier, we have this supplier, we have this supplier. I choose a supplier. When selecting a product, or when considering selecting a product, you should consider more than one supplier. You should contact more than one supplier. Why? Because you can see the different prices offered by each supplier. So you can contact one supplier, and one supplier could give you one price. And then you can contact another supplier, and the other supplier can give you another price. And then there's a possibility you could contact a third supplier, and the third supplier can give you even the best price. So you can contact the supplier, you can engage in discussion, negotiations with the different suppliers about the price of the product, the price they are willing to sell the product to you at. You can even contact the supplier about different things regarding the item. So for example, if you review the item and you think that the item has some defect, you can actually contact the supplier and you can ask or inquire from the supplier about their willingness to correct certain limitations regarding their product. Of course, a supplier may not be willing to do that if you order small quantities of the products. So you might have to order a large quantity of the product in order for the supplier to make adjustments to the product. Another thing that you might want to do is that you might want to put your logo on the product. So for example, we are looking at this hairbrush. If we want to place a logo on this hairbrush, a supplier might be willing to place our logo on this hairbrush. However, in order for them to do that, you may be required to order a minimum quantity. You might be required to order maybe about 1,000, 2,000 in terms of volume of this product. How do you know this? You can only find out this if you contact the supplier. You can engage in negotiations, you can engage in this discussion, and you can find out all the different things that the supplier is willing to do, what they're not willing to do, and what price they are willing to offer the product to you at. Another thing that you should contact the supplier about is about shipping, in the sense that sometimes when you use standard shipping, it can take about 3 weeks to ship from China to your potential customer. So if your potential customer is in the United States, then when you use your supplier from China, it might take 2 weeks or 3 weeks to ship from China to your customer in the United States. And this is relatively a long period of time. Sometimes your customer can be annoyed by your item taking too long to ship. How can you address this? You can address this if you use faster shipping. So for example, you can consider using DHL shipping. Now, you can require or you can request that your supplier use DHL shipping to ship the item from China to the country of your customer. Of course, when you use DHL shipping, it will be more costly, it will be more expensive. However, when you use this shipping, the item will be shipped faster. Now, normally when you use DHL shipping, it will increase the cost of you providing the item to your potential customer. Now, if you order large quantities of the product from your potential supplier, you can negotiate shipping terms in the sense that some of the suppliers might be willing to help offset the cost of shipping. So if you order large quantities, like let's say you order 1,000 or 2,000 units of a particular product, when the potential supplier sees such a large order, they might be even willing to absorb the shipping costs. If this is the case, this is a win for both you and this is a win for the supplier. Why is this a win for you? Because this reduces shipping costs, and when this reduces shipping costs, you can now sell the product at a more attractive price to the customer and still make a profit and still achieve your profit margin. This is also a win for the potential supplier. Why? Because when you get more sales, then you will order more goods from the supplier. And when you order more goods from the supplier in turn will get more goods. So this is a win for both you and this is a win for the supplier. So when contacting the supplier, you might have several questions. So this is a potential product, the hairbrush. We click here to contact the supplier. So when contacting the supplier, you need to ask them certain questions, but you might not know from beforehand what questions you should ask or how to engage the supplier. Do not worry, that is not an issue. I already have a template of potential questions and statements for you to raise when contacting the supplier. So you can start here. You can say, hello, well, this Shopify template supplier, this title, Shopify Freedom Supplier template, you should delete that and you can start with a message. Hello, my name is, you can say, what is your name? I am the lead purchasing agent of, you can put your company name. If a company do not have a name, you can make up a company name. Then you can say, I was looking at your store and I'm very interested in creating a long-term business relationship with your company. And this part was included here, a long-term business relationship. Why? Because a lot of Chinese suppliers are interested in creating a long-term business relationship. So if it is, you can purchase the product from them on a long term. So let's say you're not interested in a one-off transaction. Let's say you're interested in doing this for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. A lot of Chinese manufacturers will be interested in this because this can be 3, 4, 5 years of continuous sales. So if you get a lot of sales, they will get a lot of sales, and this is good commerce for them. So they will be actually interested in that. They will actually take you seriously if you state that you're interested in creating a long-term business relationship. However, if you do not say that you're interested in creating a long-term business relationship, well, there's a possibility they might not take you as seriously as they would have if you had stated you're interested in creating a long-term business relationship. Then you can continue and see our store specialized in selling, and here you put the different category of products. So if you are interested in hairbrushes, you can put hairbrushes here. If you are interested in selling watches, you can put the watches here. If you are interested in selling beauty products, you can put the beauty products here. And then you can state, we are currently selling, and you can see the number of orders per day. I believe that we can increase our sales by creating a long-term and beneficial working relationship with your company. This is just jargon. This is just to engage the potential supplier. This is just to get them interested and make them willing to actually engage in a business relationship with you. Before proceeding, we have a few questions, and we are hoping that you could answer. Do you offer blind drop shipping? Now, this is a very important question. Why? Because you want the supplier to offer blind drop shipping. So you may wonder, what is blind drop shipping? Blind drop shipping is when the supplier offers drop shipping, but when they ship the product to your customer, it do not have none of their information in the package. So for instance, assume that you receive a sale on your e-commerce store for a hairbrush. And after you receive the sale, you then contacted your supplier, you bought the product, and then you ordered the supplier to ship the product from their store to your customer. When this is done, your customer will receive the product. Now, when this happens, you do not want your customer to receive any information from your supplier. Why? Because if you sold the product for roughly about $50, you do not want the customer to receive the package, and when they go through the contents of the package, they see that the item really costs about $20. Because when this occurs, the customer will realize that you made a profit of roughly $30 from that transaction. That alone can make the customer become very angry, and that can make the customer reluctant or unwilling to do any business with you again in the future. You do not want that to happen. You want, when you develop a relationship with the customer, you want to hold on to that relationship. You do not want to lose customers. You want to win customers. You want to gain customers. You want your customers to continuously buy from you. You want, when a customer buys a product from you today, you want the customer to be so satisfied that they will want to continue buying more products from you in the future. And this could happen if the supplier offers blind drop shipping. They ship the product from their store to your customer, but it has none of their information in the package. When this happens, you can win, you can get your sales, you can satisfy your customer, and your supplier also wins as well, as they also get sales. If they do not offer blind drop shipping, this is a problem because the customer will be very annoyed when they purchase the product and they realize that the product was actually sourced at a lower price than what they purchased the product at. So this is a mandatory factor. They must offer blind drop shipping. If the supplier does not offer blind drop shipping, then do not do business with the supplier because this will get you in problems. And next question you can ask is if the supplier offers bulk drop shipping. Bulk drop shipping, this is where you purchase a large volume or large quantities of the products. So you may get a lot of sales in a day. You might get 500 products sold in a day. So after you get the product sold, you get the money for all the different products. And then you might have an order with the supplier to supply 500 units of the products, but you might want the products to be shipped individually. This is a key factor because if you have a large order, you have a large order for the supplier in the sense that a large number of the quantities are being ordered. However, because different people order the products, then the products need to be shipped individually. This is mandatory. This is a must. The potential supplier must offer bulk drop shipping. If the potential supplier does not offer bulk drop shipping, do not choose that supplier, because you will not be able to order large quantities of the product from the supplier and have the supplier ship individual quantities of the product to your selected customers. The third factor you must consider is the minimum order quantity. Most suppliers on Alibaba and AliExpress have a minimum order quantity. In other words, they require you to order a minimum quantity or a minimum volume of the products. So for example, you may be interested in selling watches, and the supplier might have a minimum quantity order of roughly 100 watches. This is important because if you have an order and you only plan to order 10 watches, then you will not meet the minimum quantity order. So if your orders are too low, then you might not meet the criteria of a potential supplier. This is key. You need to know if a supplier has a minimum order quantity, and you can choose or select a supplier with a minimum order quantity that matches your needs, that matches your demand for your product. Another question you could ask, are you able to send an invoice for the whole bulk drop shipping order at once on Alipay? Well, I have on Alipay here, but you can use PayPal. You can use PayPal for the transactions. So if you order a lot of items from the supplier, let's say you order 500 units of the product. Let's say the product that you are selling is watches. So you order 500 watches from a potential supplier. You don't want to have to pay for these watches individually. You want to make one transaction. You just want to make one payment. So if you order 500 watches, then the supplier must be able to send you an invoice for 100 watches, and then you can just make one payment through PayPal or whatever e-commerce platform that you're using to pay the supplier. So you can pay through PayPal, you can pay through Alipay, or you can even make a wire transfer. Some suppliers also accept Western Union and MoneyGram. So you can ask and inquire from the supplier what payment mechanism or what payment platform will they be interested in using to accept payment for the goods that you are purchasing. This is essential information that you must know, and these are essential questions that you must ask the supplier before engaging or before entering any business relationship with the supplier. Another question you can ask, are you able or are you willing to apply my company's logo on your products? This is another key factor in the sense that, yes, you want to buy products and you want to sell products online, but if you can add your logo on the product, this will be very good, because this will distinguish your product from everyone else's product, in the sense that everyone else will have their product, but your product, although it will be the same fundamentally, your product will be different in the sense that your product has your logo on it. Let me give you an example. You can buy clothes and you can buy t-shirts. One t-shirt can have one logo on it and it can sell for $100. Another t-shirt can have another logo on it, and the mere fact it has the other logo, that t-shirt could sell for $500 or even $1,000. Why? It is because of branding. It is because of marketing. Because you have your logo on your product, it distinguishes your product from other products. It is now your brand. And if people like your brand, if people like what you are selling, people are willing to pay for your brand. It is not a matter of your brand being actually better or actually superior in quality to another brand. It is just a matter of marketing. It is just a matter of consumers' preference, and consumers are willing to pay for branded products. So if you can sell a product that is branded, this can work for you in the sense that the brand will increase the value of your product. It will not be a blank standard product. Note there are many different products out there available for sale. Some products are cheap, some products are expensive, but all the products are made in the same place. A lot of the different manufacturers outsource their manufacturing and outsource their production to operators in China. So both the cheap products and the expensive products that are selling on the market were both manufactured in China. So what distinguishes the price? The brand. The brand is key. If you can manage to put your logo, if you can manage to put your company's name on your product and you brand your product, you can actually charge a higher price for your product because your brand distinguishes your product from everyone else's product. So this is just some additional information you can put in. Our company would like to send you an Excel spreadsheet with each customer's information. This is key because you must be able to send the information with the customer. So you must send the customer's name, the email address, the actual address in terms of where the item should be shipped. You must state what product that they want, etc. So you must have all the details regarding a particular customer because the supplier has to ship the product to the customer. If the supplier is not willing to do this, then this is a problem and you cannot choose a supplier for drop shipping. Another factor I have in the dropshipper template is your phone number. You can add your phone number here. And the reason why I'm recommending this is so that you can engage in discussion, you can engage in negotiation with the supplier through WhatsApp. WhatsApp is free. WhatsApp facilitates communications between parties. If you have their WhatsApp number, you can communicate with them at any point in time. You can exchange information and you can negotiate any and every single thing online through WhatsApp. This is just to facilitate expedite communication between yourself and your potential supplier. This is also key because if you want to develop a working and effective long-term relationship with your supplier must be accessible to you at a moment's notice. In other words, you must be able to contact your supplier anytime you want the supplier to supply your product, and the supplier must be able to communicate with you when you want, and the supplier must be able to provide the product to your potential customers. And then you can end the message here, sincerely, your company name. Here you put your company name. Now, if you do not have a company name, you can just make up a company name. This is just a general template that can be used when contacting potential suppliers on Alibaba and AliExpress. So the last thing I want to show you today is how to find some additional information about the manufacturers on Alibaba. So we are on Alibaba here. So these are all the products that are available for sale. Let's just choose a random product. You can see a product here. Let's just choose a product. This is the supplier. Let's click the supplier. We see the products the supplier have for sale. They have watches. They have a certificate of conformity for something. I don't know what, but they have a certificate. Click here. I don't know what happened there. So this company actually has their revenue information up. Their annual revenue is between 50 million to 100 million. So this company is making a lot of money. The company has been around since year 2015. So this company has passed our 2-year criteria. They employ between 11 to 50 people. They are a manufacturer and a distributor, wholesaler. Let's choose another supplier. So this is the company here. So this company is making hair products. These are their products. They are making weaves and different false hair products. They are making a lot of money. They are making between 50 million and 100 million in revenue. So they are receiving a lot of sales. They were established in year 2016. So they are in operation for a while. They have between 101 and 200 people employed. Their main products are human hair products. And if we want to contact the supplier, we click here. We can call them or we can contact them. This is how you contact the supplier. So we covered a lot of content in this lecture. This brings me to the end of this lecture. Thank you for listening and stay tuned for more. Thank you.